The 26th law of power, keep your hands clean. And this chapter is an interesting one. This is definitely, I think Robert Greene said he had like 5 laws that were inherently just Machiavellian and they were intentionally to manipulate people. This is definitely one of them. The basis of this law is if you're a leader, if you're in a position of power, or if you have some relationship with somebody, it's always best to keep your hands clean. It's always best to not seem like a vile individual, to seem like somebody that was not capable of any harm. And if you look at any great politician throughout history, they've always used this strategy. They always had a lackey that they would blame for bad decisions, or they would in some way conceal the actions that they did. And it's very interesting to see examples throughout history, but at the same time, this is a law that I would probably never use because I like to be fair in all my dealings. Like, even if the person's gonna screw me over, like, I still want to be fair because that is something, that's a line that I probably will never cross. Like, I guarantee you at some point of me having a business, I'm gonna get screwed over, but I'd rather get screwed over than me step over my morals. And this is something that I'm not willing to sacrifice. But at the same time, it's something you need to understand because these power games, these laws of power, they're constantly going on in front of you. Like, think of any HR department. What is HR department for? HR is to handle payroll and fire people. That's literally all they do. They do those slides that nobody pays attention to. They do all these initiatives that nobody really cares about. The main reason for HR is to fire people in a way that they're not going to freak out and write bad reviews about you and do this and do that. And it keeps the boss at a distance from the firing, and that person doesn't take that boss and employee relationship so serious and then, maybe start a fight or maybe accuse the company of doing something. Like, it always keeps the boss insulated from the employee that's being fired, and they do this to basically ensure that the people around the boss don't think he's a tyrant, don't think he's the one that's firing people, don't think that he's the one that is capable of such a heinous thing as kicking someone out from their job. Like, that person has a family to feed. Like, is that person going to do this to me? Like, it's something that is literally right in front of us, but we never pay attention to it. So it's interesting to see, and it's interesting to see that it's literally built into the corporate structure, and it just goes to show that this book transcends anything. Like, if you think this book is not applicable to modern day life, like, literally look at how the corporate system is set up, and it follows to a T every single sentence of this book. Every single law in this book is literally defined in the corporate world, and it is honestly shocking and it's honestly scary, but at the same time, it's crazy to understand the power that Robert Greene put into this book, because when you understand how these mechanisms work, you understand their function, and you understand that the people in HR are not there to help you. The people at your corporation are really just trying to cover their own asses from the legal perspective. And what you need to do is be a smooth operator. You need to play these power games. You need to play these power dynamics. You need to fit into your role. You need to ensure that you're never stepping on anyone's toes and never making a decision that is going to put the company's interest ahead of your own and get you fired. Like, we need to understand these games, and we need to understand how these things are working. And the best thing I can say for this law is, like, this is something, like I said, I'm never going to use, but it is interesting to see, and it is something that you need to start accepting, because these things go on all around us, and these are things that we need to be cognizant of, because when we are aware of these functionings, when we are aware of these power dynamics, when we are aware of these structures, then we can begin to protect ourselves, to insulate ourselves, to keep ourselves from getting hurt by these certain entities. So hopefully this was a good explanation of the law. Again, it's not something that's applicable for me. It may be more applicable for you if you run a company, or if you have certain friends that you want to cut off and you want to do it in a nice way. But aside from that, I really don't see any application into my own life. So, let me know if I should do it again and maybe give a better explanation. But I think I did it justice, so hopefully you enjoyed this. And if you want to hear more laws of power, go ahead, stick around the channel, subscribe, like the video, and I'll leave a link to this book in the description. Thank you so much for making it this far. I will catch you in the next one.